is a presentation of Fox Sports.
We are Baltimore. We are South.
Take me out to the ball game.
Take me out to the crowd. Buy me some peanuts and Cracker Jacks.
I don't care if I never get back,
'cause it's root for the home team.
if they don't win, it's a shame. For it's 1, 2,
3 strikes you're out at the old ball game.
It's a beautiful baseball night in Atlanta. Saturday night here at SunTrust Park. It's game 2 of our series between the Mets and the Atlanta Braves. Braves won 3-2 last night. Should be a lot of fun tonight as R.A. Dickey's got the ball for Atlanta in game 2. Hi again, friends, with Jeff Francoeur and Joe Simpson. Chip Carey, welcome back to the ballpark, where suddenly the Braves are playing terrific ball. They've won 7 of their last 9 ball games. The offense has been a great consistent performer for Brian Snitker. And guys, if Freddie Freeman's the entree, the top 2 guys at the top of the order certainly the appetizers for the Braves batsmen.
You always want some table setters, and boy, have these guys been doing the job since Ozzie Albies got called up at the 1st of August. I think it somehow ignited Ender as well, but these 2 guys are getting on base at such a rapid rate. How could you not pick up a few RBIs? Matt Kemp, Freddie Freeman, Nick Markakis are all salivating at the fact that these guys are on base so much.
Yeah, I think for me, the big thing is you look at these 2 guys. Look at Freddie, 20 RBIs since August 17th. Next year would be something fun to watch if these 2 guys are going 1-2 and you got Freddie the whole year healthy. He's going to end up driving in 120, 130, and that's what we need in the middle of our lineup.
And the offense will be challenged tonight. Jacob deGrom's got the ball for New York. R.A. Dickey, as I mentioned, pitches for the Braves on what's turning out to be a perfect night for baseball. More from SunTrust Park. The weekend series continues with the Braves and Mets right after the break.
Is sponsored by your local Ford dealer the Georgia Lottery.
Well, welcome back into another perfect evening for baseball here at SunTrust Park as we are leading you up to first pitch of Game 2 versus the Mets. And we've been getting some great looks at some of the young guys in the Braves organization, but arguably one who has made the biggest impact is second baseman Ozzie Albies. And he's a switch hitter, but he hasn't always been a switch hitter. We are starting to see some more power from the left side, but he didn't start that until the year before he signed with the Braves. That was all the way back at the end of 2012. He says that 2 Brave scouts were the reason that he did so, Johnny Almaraz and Dargella Lodowica. So the right side is actually his natural side, and he says he's more consistent there, but he has worked hard on the left side, and as we can see, he is definitely starting to feel more confident there. The Braves do have some young switch hitters on the team, so who else better to break down the art of switch hitting than hitting coach Kevin Seitzer?
Some kids will start younger, but normally there's one stronger dominant side until they hit puberty and start getting the muscles. So that's a good time when you're able to make some adjustments, you know, high school age normally, when they get in their man muscles and they can handle the opposite side swing. From a hitting standpoint, it's much easier to maintain one swing than it is 2, but they also have the ability to flip over the other way, and sometimes that can do wonders for the brain when you're struggling from one side.
So the young Braves switch hitters Johan Camargo and Ozzie Albies will hope to get something going today as they have Jacob deGrom on the mound for the Mets. The Braves took Game 1 last night 3-2, and they'll look to clinch the series tonight with R.A. Dickey leading the way. Chip Joe and Jeff Francoeur take it back right after the break with first pitch and starting lineups. Enjoy the game.
Your local Toyota dealer. Let's go places. And SunTrust.
Great crowd on Saturday night here in Atlanta for Game 2 of the Braves-Mets series. Braves won last night 3-2. All of a sudden, fellas, the Braves are rolling. They've won 7 of their last 9 games, a trend that R.A. Dickey hopes continues as he faces his former club, a club that he has had excellent luck against since leaving the New York organization.
Well, a quick conversation with Field and Colbreth before they get going. Now, Field and I throw a knuckleball. Well, he's had a good year. He's 9-9. His ERA 4.28. And he's pitched well against the Mets. All that adds up to hopefully a good night for him tonight. 2 starts against the Mets so far on the year. Career-wise 4-0, 257. This year 2-0 with an ERA just over 4. 42 years old, 6'3", 215 out of Nashville. And the University of Tennessee, who just had their hearts broken. His 4 keys to pitching success tonight, however. Number 1, Cabrera. Holy smokes. Asdrubal Cabrera, 7 for 23 against him with 3 home runs. So keep an eye on him. And also 6-91. That's 6 walks in his last 9 1/3 innings. That's 3 walks in his last 2 starts each. And he hadn't walked as many as 3 guys in a game since June. So that kind of crept back into his last 2 starts. Hopefully tonight he can cut down on that.
And he will face this lineup as presented by Mets manager Terry Collins. The Mets have lost their last 5 games in a row. Norichika Aoki will start in right field, lead things off. Brandon Nimmo hits second and left. As Joe mentioned, Asdrubal Cabrera, a dangerous hitter. He's their 3rd baseman. Dominic Smith, Travis d'Arnaud, Rosario, the shortstop. Ahmed is a terrific looking prospect. And the Mets fans have waited a long time for that kid to finally get to Shea Stadium. Lagares, Cecchini, and DeGrom, the lower 3rd against R.A. Dickey. Thrilling game last night. Braves got 2 runs in the 5th inning off Rafael Montero. And then the Atlanta bullpen did an excellent job pitching 2 2/3 innings of 1 hit, 1 walk relief to seal the deal. And for the Braves, their 67th win. If they win tonight, Joe, it'll be a milestone win 1 year to the next.
Yeah, it would match the number of wins they had all last year with 15 games to go.
So we'll see how it works out tonight. Nori Aoki leads off. And R.A. Dickey ready with his first pitch of the night, and we are underway. Ball 1. .77 degrees on a beautiful Saturday evening. And that's outside. Ball 2. R.A. coming off a no decision against the Marlins. He gave up 5 runs in 5 innings in that game. Game the Braves won by a 10-8 final score. And 6 of R.A.'s 9 wins have come on his home mound, so that gives you some hope. As the count to Aoki, now 2 balls, 2 strikes.
I think the one thing Dickey's brought to this staff and this team was innings. Just a guy that can go out there and throw 6-7 innings and take pressure off the young pitchers in the bullpen, and he's done his job this year.
Aoki toward left, and Jace Peterson is there to make the play, and that's how the game starts. Aoki flies out to left. Well, that was the plan.
Yeah.
Remember Bartolo Colon, Jaime Garcia, R.A. Dickey, 3 veteran guys that the Braves brought in, hoping they would all win double digits, hoping they would all pitch 180 innings or so. Well, right now, R.A. Dickey for the Braves is the last man standing. Bartolo Colon is now a member of the Twins. Jaime Garcia now a member of the New York Yankees. As Brandon Nimmo bats, he's the Mets left fielder tonight. And he swings the first one and hammers that toward right, and Markakis with a basket catch at the waist gets it for the 2nd out.
Good jump there for Nick, and then it looked like it might be knuckling a little bit.
It was the first pitch heater, wasn't it?
Yeah, and it was first pitch of the game was a fastball.
Yeah.
So here's that man, Asdrubal Cabrera.
Little nod out to his former teammate.
Who takes a strike. As Joe said, 7 hits for Cabrera against Dickey, 3 of them homers. Not this time, though. He pops it up. And Ender Inciarte comes in. He is there, and it's an easy 1-2-3 for R.A. Dickey. The Braves take aim at Jacob deGrom in the bottom of the first next. Hopefully will be chopping down major league opponents in the not too distant future. They're leading the first chop tonight at SunTrust Park as we celebrate the minor leaguers this weekend here in Atlanta. The Braves minor league pitcher and player of the year, a well-deserved honor. And it's always a treat to watch Jacob deGrom pitch, unless of course you're standing in the left-hand or right-hand batter's box.
Right.
And that's the challenge for the Braves in game 2 tonight.
29 years old, 6'4", 180 out of DeLand, Florida, and Stetson University. Road numbers good, 8-4, 387 ERA, but he's given up more homers, almost twice as many homers on the road as at home. A couple of starts against the Braves this year, 1 no decision in New York, beat the Braves here, got 16 runs of support on that date, May 3rd.
Well, we're catching him at a much better time than about 6 weeks ago, because deGrom was in the middle of an 8-game winning streak for the Mets, where he was just overpowering everybody. Since then, though, he's been a little more mortal.
Yeah, that was from June 12th to July 24th.
You know, you got to figure too, with a guy like him, it's got to be tough to keep that momentum going, especially when the team's just kind of in some shambles and guys hurt. You know, and you saw Linder right there get after the first pitch. I think tonight you're going to see Braves hitters be aggressive with this guy, because if you sit there and try to wait him out, he's got 4 pitches he can throw.
And he's second in the league in strikeouts with 221 of them. So yeah, it's not fun swinging at the first pitch. I'm sure it's even less fun with 2 strikes.
Sits 95 to 97. Slider, changeup, curve, like Jeff said, both sides of the plate.
Oh-2 pitch is taken a little low.
I'm telling you, the last 2-3 years, a lot of the hitters that I played with, you'd sit there and talk about who would you rather face for the Mets? Syndergaard, Harvey, Matz. And I'm telling you, 8 out of 10 always came back to deGrom, with the sole fact that he can throw any pitch at any time, and he's got so many of them. You know, the one thing when you're facing a guy like Syndergaard, yeah, it's tough, but you get 2 pitches, you know, from a righty. Heater and slider coming. This guy, you can get changeup, front door, back to, you know, I mean, it's a lot of pitches he can throw. And Joe, you know, as a hitter, that's not real comfortable.
No, it's not when you can't eliminate anything.
I mean, that ball was 98 right there, and it cut a little.
Yeah. Ender was just hoping it wasn't a strike. That's why he looked back at field in Colbreth.
So a 2-2 count for Ender, who's riding a nice roll to the plate. And Ciarte picked up hit number 188 in the 5th inning last night. Scored 1 of the 2 Atlanta runs. In fact, his run was the winning run. Charlie Blackmon still leads the National League in hits. as this one's hit high in the air toward right. Aoki has plenty of room, and he puts that away for the first out. Here's Ozzie. Albies got on base 2 more times yesterday. Doubled in the first inning. Walked and was stranded in the 5th. That base hit in the first gives him a 13-game hitting streak. Again, the longest hitting streak for Braves rookies since Freddie Freeman's 20-gamer back in 2011.
I love watching these young guys get their first look at pitchers that they've been watching on TV for a while and see how they react. Albies' first look at Max Scherzer. He had a good night. 1 for 5, 1 for 2 with 2 walks. Led off the game with a walk against him.
Two balls, no strikes. There's got to be some knee knocking, wouldn't you think? I mean, go back to the 05 year. Stand in against Roger Clemens for the first time in your career. I mean, you got to be going, really? Am I really here?
Yeah, there's no doubt. And I remember I was giving Ozzie a little bit of a hard time today because yesterday I was asking him about facing guys for the first time, Joe, and you know, his approach and different things. And if you watch film, I don't need to watch film. I just kind of feel it as I go out there. I walked by today and I saw him in the film room watching DeGrom. I said, well, what, is he special? Are you scared of him? He had a good chuckle.
I think he's got a great sense of humor.
He does.
I see him messing around with some of his teammates, and
he just loves to be out there playing. Those are the type of teammates you love to have on the team. I don't care how old they are.
Right.
Runner at first for Freddie Freeman, the Braves' first baseman. He jumps the first pitch and hammers that toward right. Aoki's going to have to play that on a couple of hops. And Atlanta's got him first and third. Again, aggressive early in the count. It pays off for Freeman.
I don't blame Freddie at all. I mean, he's got 5 hits against DeGrom in his career, but 5 for 25, and that backdoor slider was unfortunately for him right down the middle.
Yeah, it was 91.
May have overthrown it a little bit.
That's what you talk about, is attacking a guy like DeGrom early. You know, there's a reason he throws so many innings, and you have to throw strikes. If you're out there throwing 5 pitches per guy, there's no way you're going to throw the innings he has. So he attacks guys. He wants the ball put in play.
So Nick Markakis, the batter. Nick got to the 150 hit plateau last night for the season. The 10th year in Markakis' fine career that he's gotten to 150 or more hits in a season. He starts play tonight batting .280. And as we've grown so accustomed to, Nick Markakis, one of the most consistent hitters for the Braves with runners in scoring position. A .290 average. So right guy, right time.
Isn't that something, though?
Play.
Golly, 150 or more hits 10 times. That's pretty good.
As you see the rest of the Braves Toyota lineup. Adrian Gonzalez and Robinson Cano have 11 150 hit seasons since 2006. Nick's also looking to get to 40 doubles. He's done that 4 times in a year.
I remember always going up to Baltimore to play Nick when he was with the Orioles, and our pitchers would talk about, you know, Adam Jones being dangerous, Chris Davis, but it was Nick that they always knew would give them the at bat that was going to be tough on them.
And led off a lot for them.
He did.
Strike 3 outside corner. Markakis with a look back. Hardly ever see Nick say anything, much less a complaint. But DeGrom got a pitcher's pitch called for the second out.
Perfect pitch.
There's nothing Nick could have done with that anyways.
No, and the part that eats him up is first and third one out. If it had been 2 outs and he's the 3rd out of the inning, he may not have even turned around.
That's one of those when you hear people say you get 1 pitch per at bat, they say to hit. That 0-1 was his pitch he missed when he fouled it off.
Right.
Well, let's see if Suzuki can pick him up. Kurtz knocked in 42 runs. DeGrom continues with his 18th pitch of the inning. And a good cut, fouled away. Kurtz riding a nice hot stretch. He's got 9 hits in his last 5 games.
14 runs allowed in the first inning by DeGrom and 29 starts.
That's fouled away into a big crowd tonight.
Big crowd.
Isn't it always funny how a lot of aces and just great pitchers? I know y'all's colleague up here sometimes, Glab, was the same way. That first, second inning, if he could get through that, they would just roll after that. But it's like they got to get into that rhythm.
Let's see what of DeGrom's 4 pitches he chooses here ahead 0-2. And Kurt pops it up. Rosario drifting back says he's got it. And he's there to retire the side. A walk, a single, 2 runners stranded in the Braves first. We head to the second, still no score.
Is your #1 mobile app for live Atlanta Braves baseball. Stay connected with a fully customizable experience. Get Atlanta Braves home screen icons and app features, as well as game day, live game video highlights, radio broadcast, statcast, news, and more. Download MLB.com at bat today.
So Dickey and DeGrom scoreless firsts under their belts tonight. RA got the Mets 1-2-3 in the opening inning. Now he'll face Smith, d'Arnaud, and Rosario in the New York second. Dominic Smith had an RBI double last night. He also walked in his 4 trips to the plate. #1 pick by the Mets back in 2013.
You got to imagine a couple of these guys, probably the first time ever seen a knuckleballer.
Yeah.
I remember the first time I ever saw one was Wakefield. I about jammed myself 2-3 times in a row. I did it a couple times, and I remember facing RA back in 15 when I was with the Phillies, and I called Teixeira. Teixeira had good numbers against him, and I asked him, you know, his approach and what he did, and he said he stood really, really tall, almost kind of like a softball stance like you hear, and that you kind of almost have to go get the ball right when it leaves his hands. You're saying swing, 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 and then if you don't see it in the zone, you shut down, because he said too many people think they got so much time, but yet the ball still gets on you pretty quick and you end up jamming yourself. And sure enough, I actually was able to put a couple good ABs on him, but it was funny, the difference. You know, my first time I always said I'm going to let it come to me.
Yeah.
And you just can't do that. The ball moves too much.
Well, and on top of that, I faced Charlie Huff a lot in spring training when we played for LA. and we'd have camp games. And if you were just sitting there waiting on the knuckleball, he had a good enough fastball that if you're looking for a knuckleball, the fastball gets on you.
And that is one thing. RA for knuckle. Wakefield never really threw the heater as much. He was almost strictly knuckleball. RA will throw the heater.
This is Travis d'Arnaud, the Mets catcher. And he's straightened up inside. 1 ball, no strikes. $12 homers, 45 knocked in, and a .238 average for the Mets catcher.
If I was in the bullpen, I'd want to be the guy coming in right after Dickey.
You bet.
I bet their numbers are pretty good. Waiting to see 70 dancing everywhere. Next thing you're getting 98.
Game number 101 for d'Arnaud tonight, as that one's taken low and outside. d'Arnaud, you might recall, was originally a Phillies draft pick. Was traded to Toronto for Roy Halladay. That was part of that deal that brought Noah Syndergaard to the Mets for R.A. Dickey. That deal was after the 2012 season. And since then, it's really been lots of injuries for Travis d'Arnaud. He's had concussion problems. He's had a fractured right pinky finger. He's had left elbow and right rotator cuff problems. And enters action tonight with a career .245 big league batting average.
And that trade with Toronto was right after Dickey had won the
Cy
Young, right?
I think that's one thing with Dickey that I think people continue to think about, that Cy Young year, and especially as a knuckleballer, that's tough to continue to do that.
There's a liner into center field, and Ender cuts it off quickly. Runners are at first and second now for New York with nobody out.
Tried to sneak that fastball by him, and d'Arnaud said no. Tried to sink a little two-seamer in there. It didn't work.
That's the amazing thing to me, how he's able to hit that fastball like that. When I was always looking for knuckleball, I didn't even know what a fastball looked like from a pitcher like that. You're just looking at it dancing.
Right.
So a big chance for Ahmed Rosario, the kid Mets shortstop. Four homers, 8 RBIs, a .274 average. He's had some finger and hip problems.
But he is their Ozzie Albies.
A Pacific Coast League end of the year All-Star and the Rookie of the Year in the Pacific Coast League for the Mets organization at Las Vegas.
Isn't he just 21?
21 years plus. A good road trip for New York. He's 6 for his last 11 with 3 runs. And this one's popped toward first. Infield fly takes care of Rosario for the first out.
Looks like he broke his bat. Another two-seamer.
Yeah, that one really did move in on him. And could be he was set up and waiting on the knuckleball.
I would say, Joe, that was for sure what he was doing.
Well, at this stage of his career, after so many years, RA can read those hitters and know who's on their back foot waiting.
Take advantage of some of the younger hitters.
Double play ball would be nice off the bat of Juan Lagares. He's hitting to 6 of those this year. And just took a strike right down Broadway. 0-2.
You think the umpires see the pitching at the start of the series and think I'm behind the dish?
Oh, you know it.
Sharply hit off the heel of Albies' glove and into shallow center field. Smith is around third. He's going to come home and score, and the Mets take the lead. Ozzy's caught just about everything at second base this year. Couldn't catch that one, however. And Lagares with his 15th RBI gives New York an early lead.
That was hit hard. Why is it that when there's a guy on base, the bounce always goes 50 feet away? If there's nobody on base, it trickles away.
I'll tell you what, for people not watching last night, if you remember Lagares, his last 2 times smoked the ball right at second. He was probably thinking, again?
Yeah.
So Gavin Cecchini, the second baseman, who was 1 for 4 last night, enters play tonight with a 190 average. New York has given DeGrom an early lead and a strike. Cecchini, the 12th overall pick by New York in the first round in the 12 draft.
Good catch by Kurt.
And you see Suzuki taking his catcher's stance, as it were, on a knee. That is by design, even with runners on base. We've talked about that a couple of times this year. When Tyler Flowers has caught RA. As this one shot into right field for a base hit. Darno on his way to third. They're going to wave him. Markakis loads up. His throw is off target. It gets by Suzuki, and Dickey plays the carom perfectly. And no further advance. So Darno scores. 2-0 New York. Lagares all the way around to third base.
This one was just fought off.
Another fastball.
Yeah, he didn't even know where it went. Unfortunate that it didn't give the Mets another base.
So DeGrom now leads by 2. He's in the box with 1 out. Oops, 1 foul for a strike. DeGrom is no slouch at the plate. He's a .227 hitter. He's hit a home run.
That's right. He's another hitter in their lineup.
Yeah, you can see the outfield where they're playing. As an outfielder, you know who can hit and who can't as a pitcher.
Played shortstop at Stetson. Wow, I thought that was Darno running home, or Lagares rather. The third base coach came in to talk to him. And Sherlock, I thought that was the base runner.
No balls and a strike. The squeeze was on. Somebody missed a sign. Lagares breaking for the plate is going to be tagged out. Lagares broke for the plate. DeGrom never even attempted to bunt. And New York runs into the second out of the inning.
Didn't they just talk?
Someone messed up.
Yeah, Sherlock just came in and talked to him.
You got Sherlock talking to DeGrom, who obviously had to tell him what was going on, but he's also right in Lagares' ear.
Yeah.
Someone
So DeGrom pops one up left side, and that should be easy for Rio, and it is. The Mets got 2. Could have been a whole lot worse. They do that on 4 singles. We go to the home second. New York 2, Atlanta 0.
Xfinity delivers the fastest internet and the most Wi-Fi coverage throughout your home. And by Delta Airlines.
Braves fans, as a thank you for celebrating the inaugural season with us at SunTrust Park, join us for a Fan Appreciation Week next Tuesday through Sunday with something special happening each day. And take advantage of discounted tickets all week long with seats priced as low as $5 for each game. Visit Braves.com/fan appreciation for all the details. Chip.
Yes, sir. And Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, it's your last chance to come out and boo the Washington Nationals here in 2017 at SunTrust Park. Then we've got the Phillies to wrap up the home portion of the schedule before we hit the road for our final road trip of the season, a 4-game series with the Mets, including a makeup doubleheader on September 25th up at Citi Field.
I'll be here next Tuesday through Friday doing pregame, postgame too.
Really?
I'm working hard this week.
You are.
Getting after it.
Proud of you. Fill up your gas tank. It's a lot of trips back and forth.
Yeah, Kitty told me to get out of the house.
We understand.
Bless her heart. Pitch to Rio is.
I don't need y'all adding on.
As we start the second inning. So DeGrom's got a 2-run lead. Could have been a whole lot worse. We're trying to figure out what happened on that squeeze opportunity for the Mets. That saw Lagares break toward the plate and get tagged out.
DeGrom's left-handed. You don't squeeze often with a left-handed hitter. And he saw him coming, and yet he still pulled the bat back. So I have a feeling it was supposed to be a safety squeeze, be my only explanation.
And he felt like I got a better chance to hit a knuckleball than I do bunt one.
Yeah. And Lagares took off like it was a full-blown squeeze.
So the Braves happy for that help. Down 2 is Rio with a 2-1 count. And he went around.
You know, these are big games for guys like Rio as you go forward here. You know, a lot of people tell you don't ever pay attention to March and September in baseball. Spring training, don't get too high, too low with it in the last season because they're bringing people up. But I would imagine as a manager and organization, when you're facing a guy like DeGrom, that's who you want to see these guys face, because those are the guys they'll be facing.
Yeah.
As a full season goes.
Yeah, this isn't a September call-up he's facing tonight.
Well, he's got 2 strikeouts. He's given up a walk and a hit. And now Johan Camargo's the batter for Atlanta, batting .304. Johan's getting the start at shortstop for the Braves tonight. Brian Snitker rotating his left side of the infield over these last few weeks of the season. You might recall when Dansby went down to AAA, Camargo got the bulk of the starts at shortstop and looked terrific there too. And I think it'll be very interesting to see what kind of role he plays for the Braves next season. He's going to be on the team, barring some unforeseen circumstance. But where's he going to play? What role is he going to have? Is he an everyday guy? Is he a super duper utility guy?
I think it's up to Johan. I think he's going to get even stronger still in the coming next couple of years. He might even have a little more power.
And he's rung up on the appeal at third base.
And we know he can pick it. He can play third or short defensively with anybody. High target. And he went.
So that's 2 up, 2 down for DeGrom. Jace Peterson, the batter, he's got the start in left. You might recall Matt Kemp had to leave after 4 innings with more hamstring issues. Jace batting .203, 13 RBIs.
You know, I think one thing that's good too, hopefully for our young Braves pitchers right now, even though it's the other team, hopefully they're watching the way he's pitching and going after and filling up the zone.
Little pop toward left, long run Nimmo. And
He makes the grab and foul ground, and DeGrom has a shutdown inning.
Good point, Jeff. We were talking about that when Hamels was here, hoping the lefties were watching him.
Yeah. What better the guy to learn from?
South, presented by Ford. Don't miss our ACC football doubleheader as 14th ranked Louisville clashes with Kent State. Then it's number 17 Miami taking on Toledo. The action kicks off next Saturday at noon Eastern on Fox Sports Southeast and streaming live on Fox Sports Go.
Well, I can tell you something about that. Louisville is going to be ranked a lot lower than a lot lower than 14 after tonight.
Would you cheer for you?
We're going to find out soon, aren't we?
Yes, sir.
Here's Aoki to lead off the third for New York. Mets have 2 runs on 4 hits. Aoki flat out to left to start the game, so he's 0 for 1. He turns on a pitch and drives it deep toward right. Markakis turns, and that one's high off the bricks. And Aoki on his way to second. He'll stop with a leadoff double. With all the injuries and all the trades, the Mets were desperate for a veteran major league outfielder. They got this guy September 2nd. He's done all right in a Mets uniform.
The last time the Mets were here, that's probably a home run the way the ball was carrying then.
Just watching Dickey's ball is just not dancing like it normally does.
Last couple of starts it hasn't been, Jeff.
Yeah.
It's been kind of on the same plane. Well, there's another.
Yeah, there's a heater.
Yeah, another fastball.
So after the Aoki pokey, Dickey's back into the stretch against Brandon Nimmo, who lined out to right his first time up.
You got a lot of rest last night, didn't you?
Not really, but I'm trying. I feel like Peter Brady and the Brady Bunch show when they sang the "When It's Time to Change" song. One ball, one strike. And that one stroked toward the gap. Long run for Nick. He's not getting that. That's up against the fence. Aoki strolls around third. He's going to score. And the Mets have back-to-back doubles and now a 3-0 advantage.
Talked about Nimmo last night about being third in the PCL and hitting last year. Had good numbers when he got called up to the big leagues. There was just no place for him in the big leagues this year. Their outfield was too crowded. There's room now, and he can hit.
So here's Asdrubal Cabrera. Mets already have 6 hits. Cabrera having a blazing hot September. He's got 28 hits this month. And as Joe said, he's one of the Ford keys. Can R.A. Dickey keep this guy under control? He got him to pop out in the first, but it's the other 7 offensive Mets that have done a lot of damage. That one's down the right field line. That one's fair and headed for the corner. It's 3 extra base hits in a row for New York, and now they lead 4-0.
Whatever it is that Cabrera likes about the knuckleball, he sure doesn't miss him.
You know, you watch him sometimes, Cabrera, you know, he has quite a bit of an uppercut type swing. And I wonder if that's just, it's a good combo for hitting the knuckleball.
Chuck Hernandez out to talk to R.A.
And action's already beginning in the Braves bullpen. It's Lucas Sims. Lucas Sims' name was mentioned as one of the guys that might replace Mike Foltynewicz in rotation next week.
Yeah.
Mike's going to have to miss a start with a cut on his middle finger sustained in his last start up in Washington.
Well, with the off day on Monday, I'm sure Lucas could probably work tonight and still make that start if they elect to pick him.
Dominic Smith to left. Long run Jace. That ball's tailing away from him into the corner. Overran it, but made the catch.
Nice recovery over there.
That's a great play by Jace, and especially a guy that doesn't play left much. This, and when you go to right field, is one of the hardest places in baseball because it's so high with the lights, but yet that ball is just tailing so hard back. And you're trying to find the wall.
Yeah.
It's a great play.
Good play. Fair ball, too.
Ball 1 to Travis d'Arnaud. Four nothing. Mets have the lead. We're in the third inning. Can't afford to give these guys much more. Not if DeGrom is on his game. Looks like he is. DeGrom struck out 3 men in the first 2 frames. How about that swing? d'Arnaud was looking down the left field line thinking he hit the ball that way, and it just squirted toward Tom Goodwin, the Mets first base coach.
It's probably a cut on that ball.
The 2-1. Missed inside. Jared Burleson tells us it's the 6th time this year the Mets have had at least 3 doubles against a National League opponent in 1 inning. 3 of those 6 games have been against the Braves staff. And R.A. missed downstairs. That's ball 4 for d'Arnaud.
Thanks, Jared.
That looked like a pretty good pitch. It's his first walk. But a force play, or rather a ground ball double play, would get him out of the inning.
So Ahmed Rosario, the shortstop, hits one right to the Braves shortstop. Second base 1, first base 2. Dickey needed that. It's double play to stop the bleeding, but the Mets got 3 straight 2-base hits. They added 2 more runs. But a 6-4-3 ends the inning. R.A.'s coming up first for Atlanta in the third. It's now 4-0. Mets in front. Live look in from our Xfinity cam here at SunTrust Park. R.A. Dickey, as you see, is hoping to cream Jacob deGrom.
That looks good.
Kind of tough to beat it at the old drumstick, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. She's got a little bit that she can enjoy later, too.
Mm-hmm. R.A. tipped that ball. Darno tried to steal a strikeout, but the ball was in the dirt. And the count remains 0-2.
He wasn't going to give him an easy out if he caught that in the air.
And then he makes Darno pay with a foul ball off his body.
Take that.
That'll show you.
Ooh, on the hand and the fingers.
Right on the pinky.
And R.A. Dickey golfs one into center field.
That away. His 8th hit of the year. Change up. Nice battle.
So there's a start for the Braves. Ender Inciarte is 0 for 1. He flied out in the opening inning. And to try to become the 7th Atlanta Brave to get to 200 hits or more in a season. He's at 188 and counting. Jeff Francoeur, the last Brave to get to 188 in a year.
Great year.
Double play ball. Rosario will take care of that himself. So just like that, 2 outs for Ozzie Albies, who walked back in the opening inning. Ozzie trying to extend a long hitting streak, and his hitting streak is the subject of our Georgia lottery feature.
Tied with Chase Headley for the longest active streak at 13. He's hit .340 with 2 homers over that period.
Yeah, Chase Headley and his Yankees started play today, 3 games behind Boston in the AL East.
Rob Manfred really gave them a slap on the wrist.
How about that? The Boston Red-Handed Sox got a fine for their electronic sign stealing, which
it was an undisclosed amount.
Right. Well, yeah, that's true.
That are going to the hurt, which
I'm good with that.
That's a good thing.
And apparently there was a memo sent to all 30 major league teams that such electronic means of subterfuge would not be looked upon kindly in the future.
Does that mean cheating?
Do you? Yeah, that's my thing. You send a letter. Did you not think that before? I didn't know you needed a letter for that.
Yeah, I think the message you send is not necessarily in a letter, but a real heavy duty fine and suspension of some kind.
Or draft picks.
Yeah.
2-2 pitch is chopped foul. Remember, the Cardinals and Astros had the hacking gate, right?
Right.
And Cardinals lost some draft pick compensation because of that.
Cardinals got hit hard with that.
They did.
And well deserved.
2 balls, 2 strikes. And Darno couldn't hang on to that one. We'll do it again.
The thing that bothered me about the Red Sox was that they all pretty much said, yeah, we did. So what? What's the big deal?
Well, stealing signs, that part of that's
one thing.
Right.
Yeah.
It really does make you think, what if it wasn't the Red Sox and Yankees right there? And I'm not usually a guy to play that game. I don't like it, but.
Lifted toward left, and Nimmo is there. My question is, if it happened against the Yankees, then almost certainly it happened against somebody else as well. But that's the decision made by Major League Baseball, and that's the end of Atlanta's third. 4-0 New York.
A free post-game concert at SunTrust Park on Saturday, September 23rd, when the Braves take on the Phillies. Want to enjoy the concert up close and personal? Get a field pass for only $20. Visit Braves.com/FitzTantrums for all the details. And I bet Chip's going to be there.
Oh, there's no doubt.
He's a big music guy.
He is.
He and Woody.
He brings.
Producer.
Yeah, they bring their little ukuleles on the road.
Yeah, occasionally. I've got the great song from Animal House. I gave my love a cherry. Got that one down. That's a medley of my hit.
Yeah, if you break that out, same thing will happen to your guitar.
2 balls and a strike. For Juan Lagares. RBI hit for him in the 2nd inning. 2 for the Mets in the 2nd, 2 in the 3rd. And that's off the end of the bat, foul. Dodgers won again. They beat the Nationals 3-2, looking less and less like Washington's going to catch LA for the top record in the National League. Cubs put a hurting on the Cardinals' playoff hopes. They beat St. Louis 4-1 today. Miami's beating Milwaukee. That's 6-1 in the 3rd inning in a series relocated to Miller Park.
Cleveland's got a 1-game winning streak.
It's about time.
And another base runner for New York as Dickey walks his 2nd man. And he's not seeing eye to eye with Field and Culbreth.
And I'll tell you, Joe, I'm going to be interested to see after the game to see what Dickey has thrown a lot of fastballs tonight.
According to our Fox tracks, that was wide. I'm curious to know what he talked to Culbreth about before he warmed up in the 1st inning. That was an interesting start to the game.
Might be some previous blood somewhere there.
Could be.
Either that or the Volunteers' pass defense in the last seconds of a football game, which didn't work out so well. As Gavin Cecchini with an RBI hit himself digs in for New York. That skipped up there, and it's 2 balls and a strike.
This is where that one knee receiving setup, is hazardous. You have a guy at first base that could run. He's got 5 stolen bases. Makes it really hard on Kurt to try to play defense, to throw out a runner if he's going to go.
Gap job, long run, Jace not going to get there. It's off the base of the fence. Lagares around third. There will be no throw. And Gavin Cecchini is 2 for 2 with 2 RBIs.
This is one of the most painful plays for an outfielder. Another fastball.
Yeah.
Gosh, how many hits do they have?
It's 3 or 4 of the doubles I know are on fastballs right there.
One of the most painful parts of the outfield here. There's a guy running, but when it short hops the wall like that, it takes forever for that ball to come down.
And especially with the guy with the speed of Lagares, you got no chance.
Much rather hit the wall hard and come back to you.
8 hits for the Mets, 4 doubles for New York. And they've enjoyed a 5-0 lead. Back to the mound. Dickey looks the runner back, and there's the first out of the inning. And again, to reiterate, the catching position by Tyler Flowers or Kurt Suzuki is what the pitcher wants. This is what R.A. Dickey wants his catchers to do when he has runners on base, because he wants the low strike. He knows he's got to get that knuckleball down in order for it to be at its most effective.
And in hopes of getting that call.
Right. Give the umpire a much better look at the low strike. And if, as he said, the ball is mask high, don't even worry about it. You're not going to catch it, so let it go. I haven't seen that all that often. As Aoki drives another one to right field, but that one's going to stay in play from Markakis. Cecchini at second, tags. He's coming toward third. Here comes the throw. It is off target. And Aoki is the second out. And that's an interesting play, because now again with the runner at third base, a ball in the dirt, they might steal a run on that productive out.
I was going to say, usually right there, I don't think that would be the smartest play, but with a guy like Dickey on the mound, I got to imagine, let's try to get to third, because pass ball, you score.
So Brandon Nimmo, the batter. He's hit the ball hard twice. One ball, one strike.
I mentioned T.J. Rivera last night in his batting championship last year. Wondering where he is. He's hurt too. He's got a tear in his elbow.
Wow. That's been the story of the Mets season. When your trainer's your MVP, you know you've had some rotten luck. New York has a big lead. They add another run in the 4th inning. They take a 5-0 advantage to the home 4th.
In one word, awesome, goofy, fun. He's like one of the best teammates ever, for sure.
Freddie Freeman starts off the Braves 4th. And has a good cut, fouls it back. Freeman with a base hit his first time up.
Yeah, best compliment you can get from a teammate. Somebody say that about you.
No doubt. I think the one thing that's great about Freddie is he comes in every day ready to go. You know, his attitude and the way he just prepares. That's really good for especially the young kids to see.
He rolls into a 6-3 put out to start the home 4th, 1 away.
I don't know if you ever heard me say this before, Jeff, but I've told people before, George Brett was asked what he wanted to do his last at bat in the big leagues. And he said, I want to hit a ground ball to second, and I want to be thrown out by a half step.
And he was.
Just so the young guys see that my last at bat, I was still busting it and hustling.
Yeah, that was Joe DiMaggio's mantra, too. People asked him why, and even in the late stages of what was destined to be a Hall of Fame career, he played so hard. And DiMaggio simply said, because there might be someone in the stands who never saw me play before. As that one's fouled away. Might have got a piece of field and Culbreth. No balls and a strike. All Mets so far. We're through 3.5 innings. They're up 5-0.
We got our work cut out for us when a guy like DeGrom's got a 5-0 lead.
Broken bat liner right back to the mound. So too quickly out. Who would have thought that out of all the incredible Mets arms that they assembled, Harvey, Syndergaard, Matz, Wheeler, and then you think about Gesellman and Lugo, that it's Jacob deGrom who's the last man standing among that group and pitching the best. Amazing. A 9th round pick in 2010.
He had a little bit of elbow or shoulder issue last year, didn't he?
Yeah, he had a little nerve issue.
Yeah, and he missed some starts. He was right around 500.
Yeah.
For his record, but he's 44-31 for his career with a 2.99 ERA. He was also a guy who played shortstop. He didn't pitch a lot till late in his college career, so he had a fresh arm when he signed.
You know, I've said it, I know, a couple times, but the one thing he's got the full arsenal. He's got 4 pitches, and I think people don't understand how hard that is when you're facing a guy and he can throw anything at any time. So I remember people ask me, who's the toughest guy you ever faced? I always said Roy Halladay, because there was no ball you ever got straight. It might be 2-0 and he's running it in there 94.
Yeah. Well, he's the former Baseball Writers Association of America National League Rookie of the Year. Went 9-6 in 2014 and 22 starts. Won 14 games the following season, and he's in line to set a new career high in wins tonight. He's got 14, looking for 15 as he leads by 5.
The 5th inning, Kurt Suzuki back out behind the dish to catch another inning of R.A. Dickey. And if you look closely enough, when Suzuki is catching, you see the bright colors on his nail. Now, that's something common that we see with a lot of the catchers. But what Kurt has are actually stickers. Joe and Chip, one of you guys asked about this a few weeks ago. You weren't sure if it was a type of paint or sticker. So I asked Jeff Porter what it was, and he showed me that they're these little stickers that they can just put on and off, so there are no manicures being given in the clubhouse after games.
Is that considered a fashionable color, Kelsey?
That's a stretch.
Yeah.
That's a stretch.
Okay.
See? But every time
he wasn't
Bubba
talking about
me,
that, Kelsey. He was talking about your fingernail polish.
every time Bubba sees me, he's like, did you have them on your nails? And he looks at my nails to see if I have the stickers on.
I think next time my wife wants to get a $70 manicure, I'm just going to bring her home some stickers.
Yeah.
Good call.
Smart man.
Why not?
2 quick strikes for Cabrera. And no swing. 1 ball, 2 strikes your count. He asks for time, and it's granted. 5 runs, 8 hits for New York. No runs, 2 hits for the Braves this evening.
Not only have the Mets lost 5 in a row, they've lost 8 in a row on the road. And with Miami's struggles, the Braves actually were only a half game out of second place entering play tonight.
That's grounded toward first, And Freddie leads RA to the bag perfectly. There's the first out. Well, again, we saw the Mets quite a bit in spring training, and I remember very clearly, Joe, one of our spring training telecasts, we were raving about the Mets. We really thought that if they stayed healthy, they could be as good as any team, not only in the National League, but all of baseball.
I picked them.
And for their fans, for their team, certainly a big disappointment. And there's some questions now about what's going to happen with Terry Collins, who's been their manager there for such a long time, a great baseball guy. He's taken to the World Series. He helped navigate the Mets through the post-Madoff mess. And now they're starting a rebuilding program, and Terry's in the last year of his contract. And it's uncertain as to whether or not he either will be asked back or whether he wants to be back.
Yeah, that's a consideration, too. There's a lot to deal with when you manage in New York. Jeff talked about that last night with the crush of media that's always on you. It's certainly there every day for the manager, having to have those scrums with the press.
You know, I think after what Terry's done the last 2 seasons, if you can't get a pass on something like this year with the injury, you know, filled season, then that's a tough way for me to go. You know, he led them to the World Series, Game 6 last year, you know, with a few injuries too, got him to the playoffs.
Lost a heartbreaking.
Absolutely. And as Joe said, you know, you put up with a lot up there. It's not just managing on the field, it's off the field too.
Good inning for R.A. Dickey. Got the Mets in order in the 5th.
Field gate at SunTrust Park and find out how to get a free t-shirt and learn more about Chevrolet's award-winning lineup. Be sure to check out the 2017 Chevy Colorado and the all-new 2018 Chevy Equinox on display. Plus, at weekend games, fans can get a free commemorative picture taken with the Atlanta Braves wrapped Chevy Silverado High Desert Edition, located outside of the left field gate. Georgia Drive Chevy. Find new roads.
Braves fans, come out to SunTrust Park on Friday, September 22nd, and get your very own Bobby Cox replica statue presented by Coca-Cola. It's available for the first 20,000 fans through the gates, and you can visit Braves.com/tickets to secure your seats today or tonight. Good inning for RA after a rough 2nd, 3rd, and 4th inning.
Now he needs some offense. Braves have mustered but 2 hits against Jacob deGrom. And RA has one of them. Ruiz, Camargo, and Jace Peterson, the first 3. Then the pitcher spot is due. Almost certainly you'll see the Braves go to the pen. It is busy again. Rio struck out in the 2nd. Camargo struck out in the 2nd. deGrom has 4 punch outs so far in the night.
Yeah, it's a good test for some of these young hitters on our team. I remember Chipper used to tell me, let's see your stats against 1s and 2s.
Good point.
I liked facing the 3, 4s, and 5s.
Well, no, you didn't. I mean, I'm sure you did.
No, I know what you're saying.
But didn't you love that test?
Oh, yeah. When you see a PV and Smoltz and you're out there playing, just knowing, 1 for 3 and you're grinding.
Yeah.
It's bounced foul past first. Jeff, I've said this to Joe a million times. I don't know how anybody ever gets a hit in a major league game. Ever. It's almost impossible to think of the incredible skill that a guy has to square up a 98-mile-an-hour fastball, much less anything that has a wrinkle in it. But something else that Joe's talked about a lot is the unrelenting assembly line of terrific pitchers that a major league hitter has to face. And it's, I guess, even different now than when Joe played, because guys like DeGrom are so common in this regard. He's throwing 96, 97 miles an hour. You might have had 7 or 8 guys in the entire league throwing 97, 98 30 years ago.
Yeah, your mop-up guys now are throwing 98, 99. And I think, too, and Joe, you can probably talk more about this back when you played, but, now it's such a specialized game. And I can't tell you how many times, the last 2-3 years you'd start a game and you'd face a starting pitcher twice.
Yeah.
And you're batting 5th in the lineup, and it's like, and then you end up facing 2 or 3 guys. So I think that's a tough part, is you just always seem, it's almost like a early spring training game sometimes where you're facing 3 different guys in one game.
There's no question about it. That aspect of it. When I played, it was almost an embarrassment if the starting pitcher only went 5 innings.
Yeah.
I mean, they were always grinding themselves to go at least 7, if not pitch a complete game, no matter what the score was.
Sharply hit to second. Cicchini, a nice stop, couldn't get it out of his glove, and the ball dropped. And they're going to say that Rosario had enough control to get the force play of Rio Ruiz at second base. Braves might take a look at this to see if Rosario went into the glove to try to make a throw. Ball stuck. Otherwise, that would have been a double play.
Oh, yeah, he's got it.
I like that ruling where you got to make a clean transfer. He did catch it. And no replay.
Yeah, the timing got all messed up when
Rio.
So 1 on, 1 out. Jace Peterson, the batter. And he takes a strike. 40, 50 years ago, you used to have 4-man rotations in Major League Baseball. Guys are making 38, 39 starts a year. Not anymore, obviously. Back in your day, Joe, how many guys were commonly on a Major League pitching staff?
10.
10?
Uh-huh. I thought you were going to say they were making 38, 39,000 a year and happy.
Well, they were.
Yeah. Adonis in the on-deck circle to hit for RA, barring a double play.
Oh, 2 pitch for Peterson. And up and away.
And there were terrific closers in those days, just like there are now, whether it was Raleigh Fingers or Sparky Lyle or Goose Gossage. There were guys like that. Every team had someone to finish a game if they needed them to. But when you've got a full roster of guys throwing 95 plus, there wasn't that.
1-2 pitch. When Tony La Russa began, I guess you would say, the radically different way of using a bullpen, the era of specialization, what was, I don't remember what the reaction was. You were broadcasting or playing at the time. What was the reaction around baseball when he started using his bullpen the way that almost everyone uses it now? Matchups and setups. And
yeah, it was probably a lot like the reaction people got when he was batting the pitcher 8th. You know, it was like, what is he reinventing things? Yeah, it was everybody was skeptical. And why would he take his starting pitcher out, so soon?
I understand the game evolves and there's new trends, always, the new hot thing. But I think for me, the one thing that frustrates me about watching baseball sometimes is the lack of just pride starting pitchers take of going 6, 7 innings. You know, that to me, that's such a, you know,
Ooh, wow, how about that call?
Wow.
Jace Peterson can't believe that. Well, you might have to take a look at this one on Fox Tracks from our vantage point. That looked to be about 4 inches outside. Was it?
At least. That was a bad miss there. Fielding. Well, but they're getting groomed to do that, Jeff, in the minor leagues. Early in the minor leagues, 4 or 5 innings, you're done.
Yeah, and another thing, I think Chip was talking about someone last night. I can't remember what player it is, but now you got guys being drafted, and they're going straight to bullpen closer roles in the minor leagues.
Yeah. Was that Bradford last night?
Yeah, yeah. When you're talking about him, I mean,
and he's not the only one. There are lots of guys. I mean,
no doubt. But I remember my rotation when I was in Rome with low A and then high A. It was all our rotation guys coming up to the big leagues. Very rarely we have a bullpen guy that was gonna get to the big leagues. You know, it was your starters who got the innings, got the experience, and then when they got up here, they got moved into a different role.
That's right. In many cases, before your era, Jeff, the guys in the minor leagues in the bullpen were fillers. They were getting those guys that filled out your pitching roster.
That's grounded to the left side. Cabrera flips to second in time, and that retires the side. The night is done for R.A. Dickey. He gives up 5 runs in 5 innings. DeGrom rolling.
Braves trailing the Mets at this ball game right now, 5-0. For this Xfinity game break, I'm Andre Aldridge. Let's get you out to Yankee Stadium where the Yankees hosting the Orioles. Bottom of 4th, already up 3-0. Jeremy Hellickson in a spot of bother. 2 on for Greg Bird. He goes way deep to right. Second deck beyond the judges' chambers. 6-0 at that point. Yankees go on to win 9-3 at home. So I get you back upstairs to Chip, Joe, and Frenchie.
Okay, Andre, thank you very much. Yankees are rolling merrily along in the American League East.
I'd sure like to have that Bird kid for a full season, wouldn't he? Keep him healthy.
Yeah. Yankees Sox got any more series? Or are they done with each other?
Red Sox and Yankees, they're done, I think.
Are they?
Yeah, I think they've finished it up.
Lucas Sims has done just fine out of the bullpen. This is his 4th outing. Only 1 run allowed. 1 walk. He struck out 4.
Two quick strikes to Rosario. Okay, Jeff, let me ask you this. The Mets have had a couple of at-bats against R.A. Dickey. In some cases, some of their hitters have had 3 looks. Now you've got a first-time against a guy that throws a lot harder and has a completely different repertoire. How tough of a transition is that?
Yeah, you got to erase everything that you have thought about tonight and just go back to seeing and hitting, because it's a whole different experience. Although Rosario right here saw 2 fastballs, so maybe he's feeling comfortable.
Good point. He's popped out to first. He's hit into a double play. And he lifts that one toward Jace Peterson in left field. And there's the first out. So we'll see how far Sims goes in the game tonight, and what, if any, effect that has on his status as a potential starter for Mike Foltynewicz later in this homestand. We do know who's pitching tomorrow. Julio Teheran for the Braves. Robert Gesellman gets the ball for the Mets. We'll have one more series left with New York. That'll start off our final road trip on September the 25th. We open up the series in New York with a makeup doubleheader. Lagares has gotten on base twice. He's knocked in a run. He's scored one as well.
It's nice to see Lucas having success out of the pen. I was watching one of the games the other night in Washington, and I saw a slider he struck out Ryan Zimmerman on.
Yeah.
Was a Corey Kluber type slider. That thing was absolutely filthy. You know what? Maybe this will give him some confidence going back to the rotation. A lot of times, though, it allows him to come in and know you're throwing 1 or 2 innings and you can just leave it all out there, your best stuff.
Exactly. No pacing yourself.
I'm thinking about one of the best closers in the game, Wade Davis. Went from, when I was with Kansas City, was a starting pitcher, and then he ends up being one of the best closers. Just realizes, hey, I can let it go at 96.
Davis got the save for the Cubs today. They beat the Cardinals. I think it's number 30 for Wade, as the Cubs have won that series and play again tomorrow. That's up the middle. Johan turns it loose and gets Lagares 2 outs. 8 straight Mets hitters have been set down by the Braves. Sims is 2 for 2, and here's Cicchini, who's singled and doubled and has 2 RBIs. Cicchini's put 27 points on his batting average with a 2 for 2 start tonight.
So we were talking last inning about Terry Collins and his future. I think one thing too is he's got a good pulse of this team, and you got a lot of those guys that are injuries are coming back next year, and you know, whether you like it or not, there's not a rebuilding year in New York.
No.
Fly ball to left. That is going to get down. He's 3 for 3. When you make an excellent point, Syndergaard's going to come back. Wheeler's going to come back. You hope Matz is going to come back. With DeGrom, that's 4 real good starting pitchers. Familia's back. They're going to have A.J. Ramos, 2 guys that have closing experience at the back end of their bullpen. Cespedes.
Yeah, one of the most dangerous hitters in the game. So they got talent.
And you hope Conforto can come back.
Forgot about him.
It may be a while on Conforto.
Yeah.
But somewhere maybe around the All-Star break.
You know, if Terry decides he's finished and he's tired, you know, because there was rumors of that last year and the other year, but for me, for Terry to put the blame on him for this, I just have a tough time dealing with that.
I do too, and they were almost hesitant to give him credit for guiding the team to the World Series and into the postseason last year, but they're real quick to blame him for where they are right now. It's like he was tripping guys in the dugout to create injuries.
And I was reading an article where they were pounding the strength coach forgot his name. I saw it, Mike Barwis or something, and saying they're not going to fire him. I want to say all those guys use their own guys anyways during the offseason.
Ground ball to second. And DeGrom hits it hard, but he's retired, and that ends the New York 6th. Lucas Sims with a successful inning of relief. Top of the order coming up for the Braves next. Part of Hispanic Heritage Month, and during our broadcast we'll hear from our own Julio Teran and Ender Inciarte. Join us all weekend in celebrating Hispanic heritage through baseball on Fox Sports South, presented by the Georgia Lottery.
Jacob DeGrom, with all of his stuff and the fact that he's won 14 games this year, you said 15 would be a career high?
Correct.
And on a team that's going nowhere, that's lost 80 games already, for him to be 14-9 speaks volumes about how good he's been. No decision his last start. 6 innings, 3 hits, 2 runs, struck out 10. No decision.
You got to know Terry Collins loves it tonight with him pitching.
Yeah, like a real game.
You're not thinking about the 5 or 6 guys you might use in the bullpen.
Well, he's had Ender's numbers so far. The Braves center fielder 0 for 2. He's flied out, and he's hit into a double play. Braves have just 2 hits. One of those was from R.A. Dickey. He was chased after allowing 5 runs in 5 innings of work.
You mentioned some of their players coming back from injury, and you talked about starters that they hope will be back. But they've got some pieces in their bullpen. You said Familia's healthy again, and they've got A.J. Ramos that they traded for, and they got Blevins. I mean, that's a good place to start. That's 3 good guys to start with.
So they got to figure out second base. They've got to figure out third base. Is Dominic Smith a keeper and can play every day at first for them?
I think you look at the bullpen too, and you think if some of those starting pitchers comes back, then a guy like Montero last night, who's got good stuff, can slide into that bullpen role.
2 balls, 2 strikes for DeGrom, and that's fouled away. Well, look, there's one guy in the Mets organization, as we talked about last night, I really hope finds a way to get back and gets healthy, and that's David Wright. I think that would be great for the game. It certainly would be great for the Mets if he can come back and be anything like the captain for New York. But neck problems, the spinal stenosis, and now shoulder surgery has his future very much in question for New York. And at this point in time, it's only a guess, but I would think first base might be the only place that David Wright might be able to play, if he can play at all. So as I say so often about Braves opponents, it's easy to hate the Mets. It's not easy at all to do anything but admire David Wright and hope he comes back.
It's good for the game. It's good for the National League East. Just like Harper being hurt. Nobody in Braves country likes the Nationals, and nobody's real fond of Bryce Harper, but you have to respect the fact that he's a heck of a player, and the game needs him to be out there.
And if you're coming to watch a game, you want to see him.
Yeah.
More than anything, so you can boo him if you're a Braves fan.
Right.
That's part of the fun. 1 ball, no strikes for Albies. Told you about Ken Rosenthal's report when we were in Washington that Harper's getting closer. He is going to have some instructional league pitchers come up and face him in the next few days, and he may get as many as 15 at bats a day against those instructional leaguers, try to get himself back into game playing shape before the Nationals head to postseason play. And if it were to start today, the Nationals would face the Cubs in a first-round matchup.
Those poor instructional league pitchers might never be the same.
No.
Yeah, how'd you like to be one of those 18, 19-year-old kids come up and are pitching to Harper, who's not much older than they are?
That's a good point.
Well, not just the fact of him getting hit off you, but what if I smoke him?
Well, that's what I was going to say. They don't know where the ball's going half the time. So that's going to be an interesting dilemma, as that one's fouled at first.
Even on the best of times in spring training, I hated live BP.
Oh, it's the worst 4 days there is.
I hated it. You're so overmatched, you're behind, you're late, and just...
Well, and then the big turtlenet's behind you, and that adds 20 miles per hour to the fastball. You feel just all tucked in. Then you had the young kids just trying to throw as hard as they could to impress people.
So a 3-2 pitch is caught on and missed. DeGrom is putting the ball wherever he wants to put it right now. And he's got 6 strikeouts here in the 6th inning. Look at that. Darno didn't have to move the glove.
That's Eddie Perez-like stuff. That's like watching video of Maddox and Eddie catching Maddox and never moving his glove and then just standing up and throwing the ball to third.
So 2 up, 2 down for Atlanta in the 6th. Freddie Freeman, the batter. He has one of the Braves' 2 hits. And he jumps on the first pitch and drives it deep toward left. Nimmo back. He's not going to get it. A first pitch homer for Freddie Freeman. Spoiled we've become watching that on the first pitch.
Like a hanging slider so that he could get his arms extended. 27th homer for Freddie. 27th homer allowed by DeGrom, and what a catch. Is that your buddy?
That's Chip's buddies that were up here.
From St. Augustine.
Just had him up here in the booth.
There they are. 2 cops.
Yeah.
That's how they know Chip.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks a lot.
Look at that catch by your guy, Chip.
That was amazing.
This is their honeymoon. Was it not? Didn't they say they?
Yeah, well, they got canceled because of
Irma.
No, Matthew
last year, and so they thought they were going to get canceled by this.
So they came up to Atlanta to catch a Braves game,
and they catch a ball. Much less a home run.
Well, they're friends with my son Stefan's high school teacher, and here they are, caught a foul ball at or a home run ball off Freddie Freeman's bat at SunTrust Park. That's amazing.
What are the chances?
Ground ball hit toward first. Smith has it, and that is the inning. The shutout bid is broken by Freddie Freeman's 27th home run. Great catch after a great hit. It's now 5-1 New York heading to the 7th. A 5-1 game. Freddie Freeman with an opposite field shot on the first pitch he saw in the home 6th. So there's one of them back. We'll see if Sims can shut down the top of the Mets order here. Get the Braves bats right back in business here. Orioles will start things off for New York. He's 1 for 3 already in the game.
I'd like to see Lucas get another start.
He is not going to knock your socks off with velocity, but he might with his guts and guile. He will come right after you with whatever he's got.
And he hides the ball pretty well with that little kind of cock back there.
Yeah.
Two balls, 2 strikes. And we'll do it again with Aoki. 5-1 New York has the lead. We're in the 7th.
When's Fultzy's turn supposed to be? What day is he?
I believe it was Tuesday.
He pitched the last game in Washington, which was
Thursday.
Yeah.
Tuesday or Wednesday.
Depending on the off day. Seems to me that they were talking about Wednesday.
You're right, because it was off day
back.
Monday. So if, you know, Lucas throws 30, 35 pitches tonight, it'd be kind of like a bullpen.
Mm-hmm.
That stayed high for a full count. Is it raining in Philadelphia tonight? A's are up 2-0 in the third inning. As a high fly ball headed for the gap. Ender on the run, can't get it. And Aoki on his way to second with another double. That's 5 doubles for the Mets tonight.
Yes, it's raining in Philly. And here's the trouble here with this play defensively. They've got Jace playing in shallow because he's fouling off, just kind of slapping at the ball to left field, trying to hit it the other way. Well, all of a sudden he lifts it over Jace and slicing away from Ender. If Jace is playing where he would normally play a guy, he probably gets that. They were trying to take away a little blue pit from Aoki.
That's one of those you got to play the percentages, though. More times than not, Aoki's going to bleed one over there.
Yep.
A strike to Brandon Nimmo. As we told you, the first ever high school #1 pick out of the great state of Wyoming. There have been some terrific players from that state who have gone on to play in the major leagues. Nimmo joins Tom Browning, John Buck, Mike Devereaux, Dick Ellsworth, Mike Lansing.
Mike Devereaux. Huh.
And Rick Sofield among those born in the great state of Wyoming.
There was another guy from Torrington, Wyoming, that I saw as a young kid and then played in the Red Sox organization for years, named Dave Koza. And I believe Dave was the guy that got the hit in that 33-inning game, remember, in the minor league in AAA between Pawtucket and Rochester.
Yeah.
I think Wade Boggs might have been in that game. Cal Ripken may have been in that game. It was that long ago.
So I wasn't born yet.
Dave Koza with a K.
Koza?
Uh-huh. No, you weren't born yet. But it was a game that took 2 days. Hope Kurt's all right.
Here comes old Bubba out there to check on him.
Yep, it was the longest professional game. The Pawtucket Red Sox and Rochester Red Wings played 33 innings, 8 hours and 25 minutes of playing time. 32 innings played April 18th and 19th at McCoy Stadium in Pawtucket. And the final 33rd inning was played on June 23rd. Final score 3-2.
Wow.
Wade Boggs drove in the tying run in the 21st inning.
There to be some averages going down that game when it's 3-2 and 33 innings.
Rochester's Dave Huppert caught the first 31 innings of that game.
God. I think Kurt Suzuki feels about like that right now.
Question is, did he come back and catch the next day?
Yeah. The 3-2 is outside.
Good pitch.
So a double and a walk puts 2 aboard for the Mets in the 7th inning.
Have you got a box score on that game?
Let's see if I can find one.
Just missed. Good pitch, though. How'd he lay off?
Yeah, Mr. Koza drove in the winning run in the bottom of the 33rd inning. And because the game was so crazy and it's never been done before, more than 150 credentialed media tried to attend the game. Some of them from as far away as Japan. And they were going to play the game at McCoy Stadium. And because of the concern about the number of people who wanted to be there, all the media requests, they tried to move it to Fenway Park. Everybody said, nope, we're going to finish it where it started. So that's how it worked out. Cal Ripken Jr. played third base in that game. Wade Boggs was there. Marty Barrett, Rich Gedman, and Bruce Hurst. 12 future major leaguers with the Red Sox played for Pawtucket in that 33-inning game.
And Koza, I don't believe, was one of them. I don't think he ever played in the big leagues.
He was released at the end of the 1983 year.
114 at bats for Pawtucket, 105 for Rochester.
I think the impressive thing is the game only took 8 hours and something.
Man, that's a long time.
Yeah, but for 33 innings.
Yeah, you're right.
Okay, we got 3.5 hours for 9 innings.
Well, it was a 3-2 game, so
yeah,
might have been a whole lot of action. Mets have action here in the 7th. First and second, nobody out for Asdrubal Cabrera. And Atlanta's bullpen begins to work again as Sims having some command trouble here in the 7th inning. Not much for the home fans to cheer about tonight other than Freddie Freeman's home run. That's broken the shutout bid by Jacob deGrom, who surrendered only 3 hits. And strike 3 inside corner, froze Cabrera.
that looked like a backup two-seamer.
That was a good pitch right there.
Nice pitch. Just missed on ball 4 to Nimmo. Didn't miss there. Beauty.
So there's the first out. Here's Dominic Smith. Well, I hope our pals Tom McCarthy, Larry Anderson, Scott Fransky, Ben Davis are all enjoying the rain delay in Philadelphia. Understand our game is on the Fanavision while they wait things out at Citizens Bank as that ball is hammered toward the gap in right center up against the wall. That's going to score Aoki. Here comes Nimmo around third. Ozzie double clutches on his throw to the plate. Now the runner tries to head for third, and Dominic Smith still hasn't touched the third base bag. But he doubles home a pair, and the Mets extend their lead to 7-1. Eight, 4, 2, 5. The put out of Smith at third base, but 2 more runs are in here in the 7th.
Left that one up a little bit, and Lucas knew it.
That's hit to left, and Darno is retired, and so are the Mets. 2 more runs in the 7th inning. All New York. as we've hit the 7th inning stretch. Mets 7, Braves 1. New York got 5 runs off R.A. Dickey, 2 so far off of Lucas Sims. And the way, fellas, Jacob deGrom is pitching, a 6-run lead ought to be pretty comfortable for that man on the mound right now.
2 of the 3 hits from Freddie Freeman, both on first pitches, both on sliders that he was trying to do a backdoor slider on and missed with his location. And Freddie accounting for the Braves' only run with a homer to left center last inning.
So the fans trying to muster a chop here. Big crowd on Saturday night. Kurt Suzuki just had a rough top of the 7th. Let's see if he's recovered in time for the bottom half.
At the end of the year, you look back and you look at the good, the bad, different things. I tell you what, Kurt Suzuki has been a real bright spot for this team this year.
Sure has.
And you know what I like too is you talk to him. In this day and age, you know, it's such an offensive game for catchers. He's a guy that takes a lot of pride behind the dish too, preparing for a game planning. It's nice to see that. Trust me, those pitchers know.
Sharply hit toward third. Nice pick by Cabrera. He'll skip it across the turf, and Smith with a nice pick at first. Gets his man for the first out. He may not have much range at shortstop, but doesn't have very far to go at third, and he's an excellent glove man.
Shades of Davey Concepcion on the turf at Riverfront Stadium when he started going to the hole at shortstop and making those one-hop throws to Tony Perez.
So 1 away for Rio. He struck out and he's walked.
deGrom has 1 complete game. That was June 12th against the Cubs. He beat them 6-1. 5 hits, the 1 run. It was on a homer. He walked 4 that day and struck out 6.
How many pitches?
116. He also has an outing of 8 1/3 at Pittsburgh with 10 strikeouts, gave up 1 run. 118 pitches. After that complete game of 9 innings, this is during his stretch of winning 8 in a row. He went 8 with 1 run unearned against Washington, 8 with 1 run at San Francisco, and followed that with 7 innings and just 1 run and beat Philadelphia. Talk about a roll.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's what's again so different in our game now to our earlier conversation. 5 in flies, 6 and out. How many times did deGrom go through a lineup 3, sometimes 3.5, if not 4 times, and still have success? That's something you almost never see. So if he can be deGrom again next year, if Syndergaard can come back and be Syndergaard again next year, that's 2 big horses right in rotation for the Mets, which will dramatically improve their fortunes in what's been a 63 and 84 year this year. Up the middle. It hits the second base bag for Camargo, and Johan gets a gift hit with 2 outs in the 7th inning.
That was well placed. Doink. Johan made a big turn. I'm glad he didn't try to go to second base. His last 6 games outstanding.
So he's our SunTrust Confidence player tonight. That's the 4th Braves hit. And it brings up Jace Peterson, who was rung up on a questionable 3rd strike last time up. And he's got a base hit the other way.
I think they're starting to follow Freddie's approach.
Early in the count, go the other way. Fastball.
Outer part, did exactly what he's supposed to do.
Just like he did last night.
Yep.
So Matt Adams grabs a bat. He'll come on and pinch hit. And Dan Warthen's going to come out and give DeGrom a little bit of a breather here as he's approaching 100 pitches. Good to see Matt getting a chance to swing the bat here. He's been plagued by a hamstring issue. And with Matt Kemp out with a hamstring problem, don't know when we'll see Matt Adams get a start again in the outfield for the Braves. His job right now, keep the inning alive and maybe park one and bring the Braves to within a 7-3 score. Josh Smoker is up in the Mets bullpen. You know DeGrom wants to finish this inning at the very least. We'll see what happens here with Adams. In the batter's box, Peterson at first, Johan Camargo at second. Way upstairs, ball one.
It's funny. DeGrom is listed at 6'4", 180, and he probably does weigh 180. Not much more than that. And he was a shortstop. And I really like these slender, lanky guys that are pitchers and athletes in other sports or at another position. But I think most scouts today, and I think most people in baseball, fear that the more slender guy is going to break down easier. They don't have the body,
the durability
yep, to hold it together. And yet here he is, and the other guys aren't.
Well, I remember all the time, if you remember Lincecum, they used to always say, that body, he's so small he can't hold up. And, you know, I know he didn't finish like he wanted to, but he pitched great for 10 years.
Yeah.
1 ball, 2 strikes for Adams.
Pedro Martinez wasn't very big either.
Well, I think it's those guys. Yeah, I think those guys got to know their bodies, what works for them. You know, what your workout routine. I mean, I played with guys who lived in the weight room for 2 hours a day, and I played with guys who never touched a weight. What works for you?
2 on, 2 out, 2-2 count. And a swing and a miss. That was a nasty pitch to strike out Matt Adams, and it ends the Braves' threat in the 7th inning, 7-1. And before we head to the 8th inning, let's check in with Andre Aldridge here at SunTrust Park.
All right, Chip, thank you very much. You know, this weekend the Braves are celebrating Hispanic Heritage Weekend, which goes hand in hand with Major League Baseball celebrating Hispanic Heritage Month from September 15th to October 15th. For the Braves, you think of how we are represented from all over the world. Johan Camargo, Panama, Ender Inciarte, Venezuela, also Eddie Perez. And this isn't anything new. The Dominican Republic, we are well represented on this roster, and I say this isn't anything new. You think of Alejandro Pena, who had 2 stints with our club, the Atlanta Braves. Well, Alejandro Pena had thoughts on Hispanic Heritage Weekend.
Bueno, ahora toda la juventud que sale de Santo Domingo pues viene más preparado, porque ahora toda la organización de Grandes Ligas pues tienen academia en Santo Domingo y los muchachos se preparan mejor. Ya saliendo de Santo Domingo pues ya saben inglés, saben defenderse cuando vienen a Estados Unidos.
Always good to see Alex there, and as we mentioned, Dominican Republic very heavily represented on our current roster, and that isn't anything new at all. We think about this as far as Major League Baseball is concerned. 235 players on opening day rosters this season were of Latino descent. That indeed is 30% of Major League Baseball. So we will continue tomorrow with Hispanic Heritage Weekend. We see the Dominican Republic right there and Arroyos Vizcaíno. Tomorrow we'll be joined by Javi Lopez. And let's not forget about Puerto Rico and any other places around the globe. Javi Lopez will talk to Kelsey, and the Braves will be wearing their Los Bravos uniforms tomorrow to close out the series against the Mets. But that's how we have the flavor going on right now as I get it back upstairs to Chip, to Joe, and to Frenchie.
Okay, Andre, thank you very much. Looking forward to Los Bravos Day here tomorrow. That'll be Julio Teheran and Robert Gesellman. And good to see Jason Mott back. He's in his 42nd game for the Braves. Remember, Jason just back off the disabled list a couple of days ago. He delivers a strike to Ahmed Rosario, the Mets shortstop, who's 0 for 3 tonight. Another strike.
Yeah, Jason's battled a couple of things this year. Strained back, oblique issue. Good to see him back out.
The 0-2 pitch is cut on and missed. Mott had good movement there, and that takes care of Rosario, who came into this game a hot hitter. He was 7 for 14 until he ran into the Braves tonight. He's 0 for 4.
I think Dickey messed him up.
Chased a bad ball up and fouled it back, and then couldn't reach that one.
So here's Lagares. He has an RBI hit, a run scored, and a ground out.
It'll be interesting to see if they think this is their everyday center fielder going in next year. You know, he had the job, what, 2-3 years ago, and then
want to go glove.
Didn't have a great year, and Conforto came up, played some, Granderson. And then he came into this year as a fourth outfielder.
Kept getting hurt. They just couldn't keep him healthy.
Driven out of play, 1 ball, 2 strikes. Julio Teheran's got the ball tomorrow, as we said. He's going for his 5th straight win. Julio will enter action at 11 and coming off another fine outing against the Washington Nationals. 7 innings of shutout ball up at Nats Park.
If they do indeed play the Cubs, match up with them in the postseason, the Cubs may want to borrow Julio.
Two balls, 2 strikes for Lagares. And popped out of play.
Be nice to see Julio finish his last 3 starts on a high note. He's been pitching so well lately.
Yep.
Full count for Lagares.
I saw the other day with Julio, I think he threw the most sliders he's ever thrown in a start. I believe I saw, but I also saw where I think like 75% of first pitches were fastballs. And I think that's him get ahead and then go to your pitch, your strikeout pitch.
And he was throwing hard.
Yeah.
He was hitting 94, 95.
Check swing strikeout takes care of Lagares. Now let's see if Cecchini can be set down. He's 3 for 3.
Saw those socks last night Mets were wearing. Have the New York skyline on them. That's pretty cool.
Still waiting for my pair of the teams were wearing for the Players Weekend. The really colorful ones?
Yeah, I thought we told you we got you. So
yeah.
I apologize.
I'm surprised that you really wanted a pair since you've got 2 or 3 pair that look just like those.
Pretty much.
Okay. Just need to back up.
The more the better.
Yeah, right. But I'm with you. That's pretty cool. New York skyline.
It's overrated. This is a baseball game.
Pitch is tapped back to the mound. Welcome back, Jason. A 1-2-3 8th inning. Top of the Braves order coming up. Down 7-1. Of 101 pitch ball. He gave up just 1 run. And now Juris Familia is going to come on and pitch.
Well, they're happy to have him back. You see only 19 games. He's only been in 1 or 2 since he came back from his surgery to relieve that clot in his shoulder, which scared everybody to death. And hopefully he will be able to finish out the year in a healthy way.
He's got as good a sinker as there is when he's healthy. And about a 93-mile-per-hour split.
Yeah. That sounds fun. He's given up 7 runs in 9 innings since he's come back from that arterial clot in his right shoulder. He went to the DL May 11th, came off the DL August 25th. He's a 104 save man for the Mets, good for 4th on their all-time saves list. Is of course not a save situation, but a chance to get him back into some game action with as little fanfare as possible. But he's greeted by Ender Inciarte, who singles for hit number 189.
If you weren't with us at the beginning of the broadcast, we were talking about what Ender and Ozzie have been doing at the top of the order since August 17th. Average both right around 340, 345. Great on base percentage or scoring runs, and the people who enjoy that the most, of course, are the guys batting behind them, including Freddie Freeman. Great work by both men.
Man, that's so big. I remember playing the Phillies all those years with Jimmy Rollins and Chase Utley getting on all the time.
Shane Victorino.
Check swing, what a bummer. Albies. And that's all New York can get because Ozzie's flying down the line. That ball couldn't have been rolled any more conveniently to third base than it was hit. So the Mets get the force play. Cabrera's wondering, hey, why didn't he try to throw it to first just in case? But then Cabrera, looking into the Mets dugout, started tapping his chest as if to say he did something wrong. So 1 on, 1 out for Freddie, who's got 2 of the Braves' 6 hits tonight. That one up the middle. Cicchini to second, one on to first, not in time. Freeman beats the rap at first, but another force at second.
I'll tell you, this is what we were talking about earlier, and I know it wasn't what Freddie wanted, but it's so good to see the young guys, to watch a guy like him run down the line. It'd have been real easy right there to say, you know what, double play, let's go to the ninth. But, you know, in the big scheme of things, it's not big, but to set an example.
That's who he is. And players who do that, that's who they are. They don't think anything other than busting it down the line every time.
Yeah, you want your team to have an identity.
So another chance for Nick Markakis, this time with a man aboard. 7-1 New York. And down and away, ball one.
Just looking at the schedule coming up for the beginning of that road trip, Mets are not doing the Braves any favors. Got that doubleheader Monday, and then night games Tuesday and Wednesday, flying to Miami after the night game on Wednesday. Day game there would have been nice.
Man, I'll be thinking about y'all.
Thanks.
We'll call you.
I know you're going to be in bed at 10 o'clock.
We'll call you when we land if you want.
Yeah, for sure. I'll make sure to put my phone, make sure to answer.
3 balls, no strikes.
That's something, you know, that they're talking about big time on the new CBA or getting it changed. Is the schedule, because
earlier start times for flights of over 2.5 hours will be mandated next year via the CBA. On getaway day opportunities, the 3-0 pitch. 4 extra days built into the schedule because the season will start March 29th.
Saw that.
And the Braves have an oddity in the schedule. The season will start Thursday, March 29th. The Braves will play Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. They will not play on Sunday. Easter Sunday will be an off day in between the Phillies and Washington Nationals series. Ground ball toward first. That is a fair ball. And that is the inning. Familia works a scoreless Atlanta 8th. We go to the 9th. 7-1 Mets.
presented by authority of the Atlanta Braves and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. The accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Atlanta Braves.
Time for the 9th inning. All New York. 7-1 is your score. Max Fried gets a chance to pitch tonight. He will face the 9-1 and 2 hitters for the Mets. After Dickey started, gave up 5. Sims went 2, gave up 2. Mott a perfect inning in relief with a couple of strikeouts. Max is the 4th Braves pitcher to pitch tonight.
Yeah, a lot of those walks came early when he was working out of the bullpen. He actually had more walks than strikeouts, I think, at that point. But this is his first outing since going back to the bullpen. Get some work in.
So Phillip Evans will be the Mets pinch hitter. He'll bat for Familia. Familia worked an inning of 1-hit relief. Right there for Max for a called strike.
Max last worked on the 9th against Miami. It was a start. Did not get out of the 4th inning. 6 hits, 4 runs.
There's a pretty curveball. And Evans took it for a strike. Did he go? Yes, he did, says C.B. Buckner. And that's the first out in the 9th inning.
It's a great curveball right there.
He's got one. Well, that was a good spot, too, right at the back of the plate.
Nice tight spin. 3-pitch strikeout. And back to the top on Aoki. He's had a good night. 2 doubles, 2 runs. And he takes ball 1. Colorado and Arizona are winning their games so far tonight. Those are the top 2 wild card teams in the National League. Milwaukee is the 3rd top wild card competitor. They're 2.5 back at the start of play tonight. Milwaukee losing in Miller Park to Miami 6-3 in the 7th inning. The Cubs already beat the Cardinals. The Dodgers already beat the Nationals. And a nice pick by Camargo, who shows off his strong arm to get Aoki for the 2nd out.
I was just double checking on Max because he's got that same body type as DeGrom. He's listed, Max is listed 6'4", 185.
You know, anybody that wants to have that argument, though, can take a look at Chris Sale. I think the argument should be over.
Yeah.
I want to be careful how I say this, but the guy that comes to mind when I see Max Fried is a young Cole Hamels. Body type.
Yeah, Cole's still very tall and lengthy. He's not a thick kid.
You know, Max was paying close attention to everything Cole Hamels did when he was pitching for the Rangers here in Atlanta. Yeah, it's bounced foul at first. And Brandon Nimmo down to his last strike.
I know they'd rather have it where you got 5 starters going every 5 days, but I think it's worked out well for a lot of these young kids to get the experience of starting and of the bullpen. You know, to give them something this offseason to think about.
A 1-2 pitch from Fried to Nimmo.
Not just that, but they're also not loading a ton of innings on him here at the end of the year.
For sure.
They're getting plenty of rest in between.
strike three with a fastball perfectly placed at 93 miles an hour. Mott and Fried with 2 innings of perfect relief with 1, 2, 3, 4 strikeouts. Last call for Atlanta as we head to the bottom of the ninth. Time for next year was the one they pulled off with the Marlins when they got A.J. Ramos. Surprisingly, the Marlins were in the thick of the playoff race, and they decided to move Ramos to a division rival, the Mets. And all he's done with New York is go a perfect 7 for 7 in save chances since putting on the orange, blue, and white of New York.
But he's a guy that's durable. Speaking of that, he can take the ball just about every night.
I was talking to AJ yesterday, and I got a chance to play with him last year in Miami. He was telling me he was kind of relieved to get moved. Him and Jose were really close last year, and that last week, I think, and just going in, it really kind of affected him. I think he was ready for a fresh start. But he's a workhorse.
Well, he's got one with the Mets, who figure if Familia can come all the way back, it's a team with this guy to be a real good final 2 in anybody's major league bullpen. Ramos against Atlanta this year has had a little bit of a tough time. He's only pitched 4 1/3 innings against the Braves, but he's given up 3 runs. He's got a 6-run cushion to play with here.
I blame that on familiarity. When you see a team 19 times, there's a good chance you're going to see the closer half the time. You're going to see him a lot. You'll figure out how he pitches you, and no matter how good you are, all of a sudden some of the edge at least moves back to the middle and gives the hitter a better advantage.
AJ's got a good fastball. He just tends to get slider happy.
He does.
Quite a bit, and that can hurt him. Guys start to sit on that slider on him.
Two balls and a strike. Upstairs now 3-1. Okay, they're back in action in Philly. Oakland 2, Phillies 1 now. Colorado 7-0 over San Diego in the 5th. Giants trail Arizona at home 2-zip in the 2nd. Here at 7-1 Mets. A ton of extra base hits for New York tonight. And a strike. Six doubles among the 11 New York hits.
Tell you what, if you're an Atlanta sports fan, man, tomorrow's going to be a great day.
I'll say.
Come take the baseball game in at 1:35 and then head over and watch the Falcons-Packers.
Kurt didn't mean to and fouled off what would have been ball 4. Too much early offense for the Mets. Too much Jacob deGrom for 7 innings. Pretty much sums up game 2 of this series. New York trying to snap a 5-game losing streak. They're gunning for their 64th win. Braves hoping to rally and avoid their 80th loss. Popped up over by the Braves on deck circle, but that's headed for the Delta Club seats down below. And we'll do it again. Braves will have an off day on Monday. Then Washington's in town Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. And Kurt takes ball 4. Not what Ramos had in mind with a 6-run lead in the 9th inning, but the Braves need all the help they can get.
That's what we were just talking about, though. I was telling you, it's 7-1, it's 3-2, and you're throwing, sliders.
And we've seen this before, even in closing situations down in Miami, where he had to throw a lot of pitches to get through it.
You know where the first thing reminds me of last year in Fort Bragg when we played. I let off that inning, and he just kept throwing slider after slider. Remember, they were up 6-1, 5-0. We ended up putting 3 or 4 runs on them.
Yeah, Joe and I missed that game. We were waiting for the team up in Philadelphia. We had a nice calamari dinner.
Yes, we did.
Yeah, so see, there you go. I was on a plane till 5 in the morning, and y'all were having a nice dinner.
The pitch. And another slider, and it missed. Ball 2. Terry Collins' hair is already gray enough. He doesn't need to see the Braves flirt with a comeback late. His club's up 7-1. High fly ball toward left. Nimmo near the line is going to have enough room.
That base hit off the bag at second for Camargo his last time up. Gives him a 5-game streak.
And a strike.
Oh, man.
I think Fielding's ready to go home.
Boy, he has been more than generous out there today. That ball never got to the plate.
Johan and Jace will have something to talk about. There's that one all the way to the screen. And Kurt Suzuki moves up 90 feet. That takes away the double play opportunity. A ball and a strike.
Well, he only missed his target about 8 feet on that one. Darno set up away. Pitch way inside on Camargo's knees.
Yeah, he never had a chance at that one.
Change up there. Might have been a split.
Low and outside, ball 2. Ramos is having to throw a lot of pitches with a gigantic lead here. Number 17's coming up. Had him off stride and popped up. Smith in at first base, and he and Ramos collide. The pitcher makes the catch. The first baseman was there, and Ramos, with a little bit of a glare over his shoulder, gets back to the mound after the second out.
I wonder why he felt the need to take that.
I don't guess he wanted to work on fly balls. I mean, he's got to know that ain't his ball.
Right.
So no harm, no foul. 2 outs. And Jace Peterson, the final hope for the Braves. And a strike. As it stands now, DeGrom and Dickey are the pitchers of record. DeGrom seeking a career-high 15th win. And now the Mets are a strike away from accomplishing that and evening the series. Here comes the 0-2.
Could be a pretty good matchup tomorrow with Tehran and Gesellman. The Braves worked Gesellman over in April. He only went 4 innings, gave up 6 runs, but he beat the Braves here on June 10th and went 6 2/3 shutout innings.
Hopefully they don't see the long hair and think it's DeGrom.
Yeah.
So the 1-2 pitch. That one taken outside. Pretty gutsy take, because that's a pitch that Chase was rung up on earlier.
Yeah. He wanted to call.
He did. Pitch number 22 from Ramos. Same spot, same call.
Well, as an umpire told me one time, well, at least I didn't miss them both.
I mean, if I'm Jace here, I know this sounds bad, but I'm almost sitting slider.
That's what he got, and he fouled it off. Again, the 3-2 and a line drive to right field. That's down for a hit. And the Braves will have runners at first and third. And Lane Adams grabs a bat. He'll come on and pinch hit. So a 2-hit game for Jace Peterson starting in left. And Lane Adams will hit for Max Fried.
And he did have that outside corner covered. is very. I mean, it's what the Braves have done all year. They don't give away at bats. They don't cash in and go to the clubhouse late in the game, no matter what the score is. They make you work for it.
That was a great piece of hitting too. After seeing slider after slider, and all of a sudden, 93 kind of painted away, and Jace covered it beautifully. Nice 2-hit game for him.
So let's see if Lane can keep up his good work off the Braves bench. He's 11 for 42 in a pinch. And Peterson will take second base on defensive indifference. No pressure on the Mets infield to make a play. One ball, no strikes. Ramos already sweated through his uniform top. I mean, he is really working hard tonight. 26 pitches. The Mets don't want to, but they have their bullpen working. As if Lane Adams reaches somehow, and you got the top of the order lurking. 2 balls, no strikes.
Well, there's nothing a manager hates more than anything else than to get a guy out there for a little work, because maybe he hasn't pitched in a while, and then throw so many pitches that he may not be available tomorrow in a real safe situation.
Line drive left field. Base hit's going to score 1. Here comes Jace around third. He's going to score 2. And Lane Adams continues his great pinch hitting work. The Braves pulled to within 4 runs. It's now 7-3.
Again, there are no secrets with A.J. Ramos. The Braves know him too well, and again, they put some runs on the board against him.
I mean, this is a mirror of what happened at Fort Bragg last year, Joe. I'm telling you. I mean, he just kept throwing slider after slider after slider.
12 pinch hit RBIs for Lane.
So a leadoff walk leads to an opening for Atlanta. And figure Adams will be off to the races at some point here. He can fly. Take away that force play again with Ender up there. Let's see how the Braves play it. Dominic Smith playing in front of the bag at first base, not holding it. Ramos ready. And Ender takes a strike. And the school of thought, leave him there, keep Smith close to the bag, then you've got a hole on the right side for Ender to play with.
Yeah, they're not holding it when he's backing up, but they're not giving him a free base either. Not yet. .30 pitches for Ramos. Now he can go.
1 ball, 1 strike. There he goes. And Ender hits it to second. Cicchini's got it. And the flip to first is in time. And the Mets have evened the series at a game apiece. They beat the Braves at SunTrust Park tonight by a final score of 7-3. Ton of doubles for New York. Ton of Jacob deGrom for New York. And that was enough to even it up.
Anytime you give deGrom runs like that early, he's going to be that much tougher, and he was.
Yeah, quick turnaround. You got to find a way to let this one go. You got a chance with Julio on the mound tomorrow to win the series. You've been playing good baseball. Just to continue.
deGrom the winner, Dickey the loser. Tehran and Gesellman wrap up the series tomorrow. We'll wrap up our broadcast on Braves Live, presented by Xfinity, after the break.